would you be looking, well, you already explained it, but what would you be looking for in detail as kind of like an early warning sign that markets might be turning from an oversold or overbought area?
A classic one is a W bottom. So price comes down very hard, so hard that it gets outside the lower band. And then you bounce back in, and then price comes down and retests the low again. Very, very common formation, and rallies. And we look at those two lows, and most people look at them on an absolute basis, right? But I prefer to look at them on a relative basis. So the first low is outside the lower band, and the second low is inside the lower band. We have an indicator for that. It's called %B, and it tells you where you are in relation to the bands. So a classic W bottom is W is a new low in price, a new absolute low in price, which scares everybody, but it's not a new low in relation to the Bollinger Band, so you know it's a possible setup. And again, you wait for confirmation.
The Bollinger Band squeeze is one of the best known Bollinger Band setups. How would you explain it in simple terms?
I think the best known Bollinger Band setup is the squeeze, where volatility comes down very, very tight, and it's very low volatility is a forecast for high volatility. So it's a setup for an expansion. So you need to bring a couple other things to the table to figure out which way the expansion is going to go. Either classic pattern recognition, a little wedge or something like this that you can do some forecasting with, a accumulation distribution indicator or something along those lines. But my favorite is what we call the head fake. And that's where you come into to a squeeze, the bands get very tight together, price gets all congested and all that. And they try to take it to the downside and they go, "Dah!" And everybody looks around and says, nope, and goes the other way. That's my favorite setup.
But how do you trade this?
I just wait for the reversal. I just wait, they go, wee, oops, mistake, whoop, right there.